Metro Boomin want some more, nigga. Hold up,
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi Leah. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back once again. So my usual disclaimer, please, this video is strictly for educational purposes. Do not go searching out anybody that I talk about in this video. Don't send them any form of hate comment, threats, or violence. This channel does not support any of that. Then another disclaimer, today we're going to be talking about a couple that have a disability, and I just want to put a disclaimer out there because I know there are some words that are acceptable and there are some that are unacceptable when talking about this, and I might not be very knowledgeable or vast in terms of the lingo that is considered acceptable or not, so please bear with me. My intention is not to disrespect people living with disabilities. I just want to have an educational conversation about the situation. So this is a little different from our usual video, but it's been trending heavily on TikTok. I cannot scroll past 5 videos without seeing somebody coming to rant or talk about this particular topic, and because there's a baby involved and you guys know I'm passionate about kids, I felt we have to talk about this on the channel because I want to know what you guys think. So just a brief introduction. There is a couple that is TikTok famous, a man and a woman who have a disability called Osteogenesis imperfecta. They both have this disability. Now, this is one of the things that I'm thankful for TikTok for, because I never knew about this disability, never heard of it before. But coming across these people on TikTok, like I said, they are really popular on TikTok and they are very open. They are actually content creators. They talk about living with their disability, and because they are a couple, they share their lives with us. So they are quite popular. So just in case you don't know, osteogenesis imperfecta is a genetic disorder where they have very fragile bones. They describe their bones as being as fragile as glass, so they break their bones easily, and it also affects the way they look physically. And this requires them to have caretakers who probably take care of them around the clock, because as I would believe, they cannot really do a lot of things themselves because of how fragile their bones are because of the disorder.
I'm Dejua.
And I'm Antwon. We're a couple.
And we were born with osteogenesis.
Imperfecta. Our bones are like glass.
Together, we have broken over 600 bones.
600.
So recently, this couple have come under fire, receiving a lot of criticisms because they had a baby. Now, they document a lot of things about their life, but they didn't really document the pregnancy. I couldn't see any videos of when she was pregnant. We just got to see that she had a baby. They talk about the baby. They show her hands and her feet from time to time. And they talk about their experience of parenting so far. But a lot of people have criticized them because ever since the baby was born, she has been in the neonatal intensive care unit. And as at now that I'm making this video, that's been over 9 months ago.
Today is my baby's due date. It is Atara's due date. Today is October 20th, 2024. And if you guys know, she was born on August 5th, 2024. So she was born at 29 weeks, but today is her due date.
So it's been 9 months, and from the little snippets that they have shown, and also from things that the parents have said, it is obvious at this point that the baby has inherited this genetic disorder that caused this disability in the parent. So the baby was born with this disorder, and a lot of people have criticized them because they are like, why did you both go ahead to have a baby knowing that this baby was going to be born with this disability that comes with a lot of pain, that comes with a life that requires constant care? And especially because you as the parents can't even care for this baby, you cannot pick the baby up, you need help yourselves. What is the point of bringing a baby into this world when you know what you're going to be putting such a baby through. And on the other hand, there are people who have come out to defend them, saying we have no right to police what people do with their bodies, and nobody has a right to tell grown adults whether they should have a baby or not, and that disabled people too also need to feel love and have a family. And it's just been a whole discussion on TikTok. So at this point, I'm just going to play a few videos about the parents speaking on this.
Us having a baby is pissing y'all off so much. Us having 2 adults with a disability, having a baby with the same disability, is pissing y'all off so much. I posted a video yesterday that had nothing to do with the baby. It was our trip to Atlantic City. But what do I see in the comments? Stuff about the baby. How selfish we are. Oh, your baby's in the hospital while you're out. Y'all, why is this just a conversation now? Y'all known about our baby since last year. But all of a sudden, all last week, that's all, like, we've been seeing videos after videos, good ones, thank you for that. And like, you know, the usual, you're so selfish, blah, 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 blah. When y'all know nothing about our baby. Us having a baby is pissing y'all off so much. But guess what? She is 9 months old. She's already here, for one. She's 9 months old. And she's doing amazing. And y'all, she was born early. She was born 6.5 months. She was born August 5th. Her due date was October 20th. Do the math. She was born at 29 weeks. She was not born a full-term baby. That is why she's still in the hospital. It is not due to our condition. She was born early because I had preeclampsia. So that is why she's still in the hospital. There's babies that are over a year old. Over a year old. Still in the hospital. Atara's not the only one. And why does that matter? She's a baby. As far as our condition, she's doing way better than Antwon and I did at her age. She's bigger than how we were at her age. Well, like when we were her age. She's stronger than how we were at her age. Get over it. I'm gonna be asking you the most frequently asked questions on your recent videos.
Alright. Bring them on.
One of the questions is, how in the world are you supposed to take care of a baby if you need help taking care of yourself?
Well, for one, y'all don't know how much help I need. Don't know what type of service I get. Or like what type of, like, just with care or what I need help with. Like, y'all don't know shit. And yeah, I will be able to take care of my baby. My daughter. I am a dad now. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Next question is, how? How did it happen?
The natural way. The same way a lot of y'all got here. Same way y'all, to have y'all babies. You know, what, the natural way. Yeah. Don't know what day, what night, what time. I don't know none of that. Morning, noon, yeah, I don't know. But it happened.
Why would you have a baby knowing you have a disability that could be passed on to your baby? Isn't that selfish?
No, that's not selfish. We have osteogenesis imperfecta, a bone disability that causes our bones to break easily. I mean, yeah, she's gonna grow up breaking some bones, you know, here and there. But her parents, you know, we had a great life. She had parents that are very confident in themselves. And we're gonna raise her to be confident, love herself, keep going, and not let her disability control her. Like, our disability don't own us. We own our disability. So, no, it's not selfish. You know, we're humans, just like you all. Speak it into existence. She will also be the same way as us, have a healthy life, like better than ours. She's gonna, know her worth. She's gonna, what else I'm trying to say? She's gonna love herself, love the way she is. It's so many things. So yes, that's why we did this, because we knew what we was doing. She was not planned, even though we knew we wanted a child one day. We didn't think it would be this year. But, yeah, anyway, she's here. She's here. She's here for a reason. She has a lot of disability, and she's gonna be alright. So, yeah. Hope that answered your question.
So now that you guys have heard from the couple themselves, let me just play some videos by people who have chimed in on the conversation.
So I'm going to assume we all have the same timeline right now. Y'all keep seeing this new story about how these two people with disabilities had a baby, and now the baby has a disability too. And the disability they have is really rare, where all their bones break and stuff, and if they pass it down, the baby will have it. So just know, I will say this. I think childbirth is beautiful. I think having kids is really fun. Everyone should be able to have kids. But being real with you, the kids we have is kids they didn't ask to be here. You know, when you have a child, your child cannot consent to being here. So with that being said, it's up to the damn parents, okay? I really do feel like it was selfish for them to have a baby, and there's no way around it. I don't care. It is what it is, girl. It's no shade. And I was watching some clips saying, oh, well, we're going to teach her to love herself. We're going to teach her to love herself. And yeah, that's okay. But sweetheart, now, God forbid, and I'm not trying to be funny, this is my thing. Y'all need help yourselves. Like, you cannot do a lot of things by yourselves. So what makes you think you guys are going to be able to take care of a child? You can barely take care of each other. This is my whole thing. You guys are literally in these big wheelchairs lifted up. God forbid, say if the baby's rolling over and the baby fall on the floor. Who gonna pick the baby up? Like, no, for who gonna pick the baby up? Because y'all can't do it. Y'all can't do it. So who gonna do it? The grandmother baby. And then also, I'm watching this little clip of them changing the baby's diaper on live. I'm watching the clip. It's taking them so long to change the baby diaper. First of all, y'all can't even change the baby diaper correctly. Literally, y'all are literally picking up the tissue, the wet wipe, and it's falling through your fingers and stuff, and it's falling on the floor. Like, what? Like, that's ignorant. This was a very ignorant choice. And then also, it's like, girl, how'd y'all have sex? Like, how? Who did this? And whoever helped y'all have sex is wrong. They're wrong too.
How did Dage and Anton, you know who I'm talking about, them damn pretzel people, twisted up like pretzel. How did they have the baby? How? See. I'm off these other topics, and I'm asking the real question. How? Because I'm looking at them. I know how I get down. Regular as hell, right? You little pelvis pump. I don't think he got the mobility for that. Neither does she. I don't think she. Right. I mean, she looked more normal, but so the way I'm thinking about it, did she have to be inseminated with his joint, with his stuff, with his man butter, his man mayonnaise? Because I feel like if you can't even put it where it need to go, god damn. I saw a Benny video this morning. He ain't even know what these people look like. I saw him one time and stopped looking. That shit just pissed me off. I knew who y'all was talking about this whole time, and I honestly thought that the internet had degraded to a point that everybody agreed that those two people should be able to, like, yeah, let's have a baby, even though science said that the baby got a 50% chance of being just like you. The crazy part is they had the baby last year. The baby's still in the breathing machine right now. And then they talk about they haven't even named the baby because they don't think the baby's gonna make it. So you just had this baby for a few months experience to say you was a mom, and then like discard. Crazy work. But answer my first question: how did they
like a year ago, I was having the same argument with people. They were saying that a certain family was too poor and they couldn't support their children. They should not be allowed to have them. And I was like, that's eugenics. And now it's a couple that is disabled. Dejua and Antwon, I think, are their names. They've had a baby. People are saying they should not have had this baby. They should not have been allowed to have this baby, or they should just have chosen not to have this baby because their disability is too painful. They are inflicting pain upon another person. And that is eugenics. It is the latent idea that people of certain types, whether disability status or race or whatever, are a drain on society, that they should not be allowed to exist. It is a person looking upon the life of another, making a value judgment, and saying their life is not worth existing. It's not worth living. And if there was a choice, they should not exist. And therefore, we should disallow them from continuing to make new people like them exist. That is eugenics. And the whole big picture, like science of it, was to improve the human race by, you know, sterilizing or killing people who they didn't think were the best for the human race. And the standard was like white Europeans with no disabilities, you know, intellectual or physical. This is a bad argument. This is a harmful thing to say about people. As soon as you get into the territory of X person should not have kids, you are there. It is a mistake. You should walk it back.
Antwon selfishly had his wife give birth to a child that is 100% disabled so they can monetize and exploit their child for content creation. He knew exactly what was going to happen, and as soon as that kid was born, they vlogged the entire hospital visit. They posted everything about the kid being home. Every video is about the kid. They purposefully put a child into this world that they knew was going to be 100% disabled and rely on a primary caregiver in order for them to have more resources, if you will, for content creation. I'm going to argue that's child abuse. That is child abuse. That is so selfish. And they have no shame. Like, they already have someone that takes care of them. Like, these are parents that cannot take care of themselves and decided, oh, let's have another child just like us. And people are saying this is eugenics. No, it's not. No one is going in from the government and sterilizing people saying you can't have kids based off of pseudoscience. This is facts. What they have, their medical conditions, are genetically inherited. Bro, honestly, be so for real.
Hey y'all, so I see y'all on here talking about the couple that's in a wheelchair. Both of them got the same thing. I think their name is Antwon and Dejua. You know, they got the bone condition. Yeah, I'm gonna speak on this situation because I am a person who have a disability myself. I have CP, which is cerebral palsy, and when it comes down to a baby, I don't want it. Only because I cannot take care of myself. I can take care of myself to a certain extent, but trying to take care of a baby, no. And I see y'all saying it's selfish for them. I think it's selfish to a certain extent. It's selfish because what I have is not genetic. I mean, it is a possibility that my baby could come out normal because CP is not genetic. But they knew it was gonna be 100% chance that their baby was gonna come out like them. That's selfish. I'm not gonna lie, that is selfish. But the other thing I'm gonna say is I would not have a baby because I can't even take care of myself, and I'm gonna feel some type of way with everybody else taking care of my baby, and I'm not able to take care of the baby. So why do that to myself? Even though I know my baby gonna be in good hands, but I don't wanna mentally mess up myself because I can't take care of my own baby. So, but hey, everybody don't think the way I think.
Yes, the conversation about the couple in the wheelchair with the glass bones, Antwon and Dejua, not having children or shouldn't be able to have children is absolutely eugenics. First of all, it's just fucking mean. She just had a baby. The baby's in the hospital, and y'all are being fucking mean. Ugh. Like that. Let's start there first. But the gist of it is, you're saying two disabled people who obviously live very full lives. If you follow their YouTube accounts, they live very full lives. They be running the town. They have obviously very healthy life. They be hunching. A baby was produced from that hunching. They live very full lives. They have jobs. They're able to move around. They're able to be independent. And they had a child. But you're saying these two disabled people that live full lives and are able to determine their own destiny should not have a child because that child will come out disabled or has come out and is now disabled like them. What the fuck? Seriously? And you're arguing that it's not eugenics? It absolutely is. There are strangers on the internet who do not know these people, but you should know if you look at their content that they live very full and happy lives, saying they shouldn't have children because they have disabilities. Bring back shame. Y'all are being fucking mean.
This is definitely controversial, but this is a hill I'll happily die on. If you have a genetic disorder that already makes your life difficult and there's a high chance of you passing that disorder to your child, and you go ahead and purposely bring another human being into this world just to join your suffering, you are selfish, mean, and your decision is solely driven by ego. Ego to prove that you can bring an offspring into this world, or just an ego to see a piece of you existing outside of yourself. How would you feel if your parents intentionally gave you the most horrible life? How can you give into your instinct to reproduce over the empathy to understand the suffering of the life that you have first experience of? So you're suffering every day, and then you go and decide, oh, how about one more person to join in this suffering with me? What exactly is in this world that a child needs to experience, even though you know for sure they're going to suffer through it? One time I made a joke about wanting to have a child by myself, and I was saying, oh, if it was an intentional decision, the society cannot stigmatize me anymore. I'm going to raise my child with pride and confidence. And my sister's first reaction was, what if the child does not have the same level of pride and confidence as you, and the society stigmatizes him or her? And what if you're not always there to protect the child? And just the thought of the offspring that I bring into this world possibly having a minute of suffering because of a decision I made out of selfishness already cancelled that idea from my mind. Our child is a blessing to us, but are you a blessing to that child, or is only your feelings that are valid? And don't even get me started on extreme poverty. Yes, you deserve to have a child, but does that child deserve to have the life that you already have too? So much pain and suffering just to exist. The world is a cruel place, and you of all people should know that. So you don't need to pass that on to another person. Just pass by the world quietly.
Now, this is really dicey. I'm going to say the first time that I came across this couple on TikTok, in as much as I could acknowledge that they probably have a very different life, which would probably sometimes be difficult, I also like the fact that they found companionship in themselves, because nobody deserves to do life alone. I like the fact that they found love and all of that. Now, to the part about them having a baby, before anybody is going to come and say it's none of our business, please bear in mind that they put it out there. So definitely people are going to have an opinion. So now that that is out of the way, what do I really think? I think when it comes to bringing a child into this world, a lot of people can even argue that it is a selfish decision all in itself by the parents. Whether you have a disability or not, it is a selfish decision for you to bring someone into this world who has no say in whether they want to be in this world or not. I have heard a couple of people say they have decided to be childless because they believe the world is such a wicked place that it would be unfair to bring a human into this world. And being a mom myself, I can tell you that there is a point in pregnancy where you get to and you have the option to go and check if your baby is healthy or if your baby has any form of genetic or life-threatening disorder or anything like that. And at that point, you are given an option on whether or not to go on with the pregnancy. And there are a lot of people who would not go on with the pregnancy, and of course there are some who would. But regardless, if you choose to go on with such a pregnancy knowing that the baby might be born with a disability, you have to also be committed to take care of that baby for as long as they will need to. Now, are there parents who didn't know their baby was going to be born with a disability and probably wish they could have had the option to not go on with the pregnancy? Of course there are. But in the case of this couple today, they both knew, because they both live with this disability. They knew that their child would be born with that situation, but they went on to have the baby. And I am not in a position to tell someone if they can have a baby or not, but I personally, now being a mother and knowing how painful it is for me to watch my child in pain, I don't think I would go on to have a baby that I know is going to be in so much pain from breaking their bones, is going to have a lifetime of dependency, having a caretaker all the days of their life. I don't think I could do that to my child, knowing how painful it would be for me to watch them be in so much pain and not be able to do anything about it, especially knowing that it was simply because of a decision that I made. So is the baby being born with this kind of disability in the best interest of the baby? I would say, in my opinion, I do not think so. Is there a likelihood that this baby might grow up and resent them for making such a decision? I would say yes, there is a tendency that this baby might not appreciate the fact that she was brought into this life and the decision that the parents made to have her. But at the end of the day, this is just me speculating. Who knows? The baby might grow up to live a fulfilled, happy life. I mean, if you see her parents, they are living their best life. They go out, they do everything. At least from what they show us. I mean, I'm not there. They do a lot of things. And yes, they have been open about their struggles, but I think they're making the best of the life that they have. And probably this is what they are hoping for their child as well. But watching the parents and how happy they are to have a baby, I feel happy for them. I mean, a child is a blessing, but at the end of the day, I have to ask myself, what about the child? I cannot think about that baby without feeling sorry for her. And no, this is not me discriminating on people with a disability. It's just, at the end of the day, it's not a decision that I would have made. And there are people that have brought up the conversation saying, why didn't they just adopt a baby? Come on, can we really expect them to be allowed to adopt a baby, especially knowing that they themselves need caretakers? I highly doubt they would have been allowed to adopt. And even if they were able to successfully adopt a baby that didn't have a disability, it would still be the same people coming in the comments crying about how they've adopted such a child and how the child is going to be burdened with taking care of both of them. I'm going to round up this video by saying, I think if you're going to be a parent, you should make sure that you can give the child the best quality of life that you can. I'm not even talking about you have to be rich, you have to have your whole life figured out and everything, but do all that it is within your power to make sure that you're giving that child a fair fighting chance at life, because life is already difficult as it is. So I'm not even talking just in terms of not passing down a genetic disorder to the child. I'm talking also in terms of if you're not mentally healed and you know you're going to be passing down some terrible trauma to your child, or if you don't even have the finances to care for a child, you probably should work harder towards being more stable before bringing a baby into the world to suffer. And yeah, people will argue that it's eugenics, but we all know that we'll be judging when we see these poor homeless people out there having 5, 6, 7, 8 kids and not being able to take care of them. So at the end of the day, we all have these biases, okay? I mean, it's not even surprising to me that people are reacting the way that they are reacting, saying that they shouldn't have had a baby, because I'm used to people being discouraged from having a baby when they can pass on a very painful disease or disability to a baby. I don't know if this happens in other places, but I can tell you that in my country, it is even compulsory when you're about to get married to go for a blood test to determine your genotype. And if it is found that both partners have the AS genotype, they are heavily discouraged from getting married, because there is a tendency, now it is not 100% certainty, but there is a tendency that they can have a baby that's going to be born with the sickle cell disease, which is extremely painful. So are we going to call that eugenics as well? Let me just round up this video here. You guys let me know what you think about this situation. Do you see nothing wrong in them having a child, or do you think they shouldn't have? Do you think it was selfish? Let's just have a conversation in the comment section. Anybody in the medical field or who has an experience or knowledge about this genetic disorder and this disability, please share in the comments, because I really want to know how serious it gets. And at the end of the day, people who are in their comments, who are making videos, who are interacting with their content, whether you have something nice to say or not, you are giving them the views that they are going to eventually monetize and be able to take care of their baby. So at the end of the day, I guess the engagement works in their favor, right? Okay, you guys let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.